weatronic.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, and once again, sorry for the short delay. And I think we can start with our new workshop and with the same presenters as last time, with Stefan
And Ralf.
Yeah, very good. Okay, today we will speak about the basic settings and the teacher-student mode. So I would say we will start directly.
Yeah,
Okay.
like every time we do.
Okay, then let's share the display.
Yeah, we start the screen sharing. And here we go.
Okay, part of the screen. And yes. Okay, so okay,
Everything is
perfect.
online.
Yes. Everything's online. Voice is okay. Yes, voice is okay. Check and let's go.
Yeah, this was a long flight with the Caldera.
3 hours. Perfect.
Yeah, looks like. Yeah, today we want to explain some basic settings or general settings as well as the teacher-student functionality. So first of all, we will take a look here at the bottom row. We already worked quite a lot with the model management, which is just changing the model, and there you also can set up new models and delete old ones.
Import,
Export, yeah, everything that has to do with the model management. And on the left side, you have this little tool here. This is all.
Oh, wait. The same as every workshop. We have to restart the screen sharing once again.
The same as every workshop. That's a little bit annoying, but
yeah, it's tricky, but we don't know why. Every time we have to restart the screen sharing a second time, and then everything is okay.
So here we go again.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, the little tool you see here. This is all the settings we used during our last workshops. So all the settings you see here is related to the model itself. So all the settings you do on the tool screen is working just for this specific model. And on this stage, we just have to reconnect the radio, as it decided not to work anymore with the screen sharing.
Oh, okay. Because we did it the second time, perhaps? Could be.
Yeah, sometimes computers are tricky.
Okay, so let's try it once again. And then we can go on. Okay. We get another IP address.
The new IP address.
And there we are.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
here we were for the model settings. So all you see here is really model specific. And the last or the third button we have here is the general settings. So this is really settings related to the radio itself. And we just will have a short look through all the available settings. Very first, we have the battery manager. Here it shows the voltage of the single cells. So you see here 3.8 roundabout, and the third one is on 4 volt. Everything is not full, that's why there is a yellow button, and on top here you see it is charging and connected to the power. And here you see the red symbol because the spare cell, which will be number 3, is not completely charged. When you now remove the charger, it will change the state. Now you see it's no more charging, and for this charging mode everything is okay. Number 1, 2, and 4 are in use, and number 3 is the spare one right now. So far,
you see the color of the on-off button, like this?
Yeah, now it's blue because everything is fine. When the voltage here drops below 3.5 volt for the main ones, it will change to orange, and when it will use the spare one, there will be a fast red flashing instead of the slow blue or yellow blinking. And besides the voltage, you also have the remaining capacity, which is just roundabout. So don't take it too serious, but it gives you a good estimation for how long the batteries will last. So the next big one is the file manager. This is a standard tool, so not related to any model. Therefore, it's under the general settings. Here you see the top menu, the one which is highlighted in white. It's the active one. So you also see the arrow here changing the direction. So with this, you can copy from left to right. And when you set this one, it copies from right to left. You can easily choose any file here, or also change the medium. If there is a USB stick, you can click here for the drop-down menu and change to the USB stick and copy. Please keep in mind that the model import export needs to be done on the model management function, because when you import or export model files, there is also a little parsing process according the binding information and other small stuff. So the next big one here is the calibration. Calibration is usually only necessary when you change something on the hardware, for example, the cams for the stick. When you change the cam to another one, it usually is necessary to recalibrate to get a really precise center precision on 0%. The process itself is quite easy. You just start the calibration, and then you move every stick throughout all the available way, always plus minus, and here we go. That's the one, and that's the one. That's the one, and here also the turn potentiometers, and then you confirm that you have moved everything towards the limits. And then there is the set center position. So you bring every control to its center position, also the throttle stick. Don't forget this. This is very easy to do. When you just take a look from the side to the radio, you put the throttle stick parallel to the elevator stick, and then you have reached the center position. And then you just click for set center position, and the calibration is done.
Okay, there's only one.
Yeah, if you use the mixed cam, so
Yes.
you have the ratchet on 2/3 and the spring loaded on the back end or on the front end, however you like it. For the calibration, you set the center point in between the ratchet and the spring-loaded area. That's also obvious, I think.
Obvious and very important. So
yeah, very important for easy programming afterwards.
Yep. Okay. So okay.
Yeah, so far for the calibration. The next point is the user settings. So here you can get the username. You can also upload an image. Unfortunately, we missed to make it selectable on the screen adjustment page. But this will follow with one of the updates. You can change the language, you can set time and date and time zone, which is wrong here, like I realized. Usually we are here UTC +1. So,
no, the time is correct.
yeah, time is correct. The time zone is UTC +1.
Mm-hmm.
This is important when you use the time sync automatically, because then it will synchronize to the GPS time, which is not working right now because indoors GPS signal is not available. Yeah, that's the user settings page. Also, there is a password. You can set it active, and then you can enter a new password, confirm a password, and then you need to enter the password every time before you go to the settings.
As you know from your mobile, for example.
Yes. Yeah, then the next important task is the pre-flight tests. So this should be used for a new model. And you see here we have two available tests. One is the range test and one is the fail-safe test. And down here we have a table showing the received signal strength index, the RSSI 1 and 2, and the listen quality index 1 and 2 of the TX. So this is what the radio receives from the receiver and of the RX. So this is here the RX values. So we have a clever in the caldera. Therefore, you see two values on the TX side because there are two antennas and two receiver modules in the radio, but there is only one receiver module on the clever. Therefore, there is no value on the number 2 RSSI and FUI. And when you now, for example, start the range test, you will see that the value here for the RSSI drops from -40, like we had before, to -60 due to the received output, no, due to the reduced output power on the radio. And for a range test, you should have a distance of about 80 to 100 meters with still working plane. And here you also can watch the listen quality index. This should still be about 70% during the range test on this distance to have a safe flight. And you see there is no change on the values on the TX side because during the range test there is no reduction of power on the receiver. For a safety feature, the range test stops itself after 60 seconds. Also, you can stop it manually. Then there is also a fail-safe test.
And you can restart it
Yeah,
again and again as often as you wish, because you don't have to run on the field.
yeah, you can start it and stop it whenever you want. And the fail-safe test is the same. This just executes that the receiver goes to fail-safe. So when you start here, it's active, and then you can move, stick, whatever you want. It just will go to all the fail-safe positions. Yeah, so far for the pre-flight tests. Then this is just information page, the firmware versions. You just see everything here is up to date. It's version 6.08. The charge controller is version 6.01, which is also up to date. And then we have the update function. We already explained in one of our previous workshops. This is also general for updating the receivers with the cable to the radio.
And the feedbacks of the customers are very, very good. Last weekend, I was on the fair in southern Germany, in Sinsheim, and there were a lot of customers telling me the update RX with the radio is so wonderful, so easy, perfect.
Yeah, and the big advantage is you don't need computer anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so then there are two more options. One is the Wi-Fi settings we're always using for our presentation here. So the radio is connected to our network here, but Wi-Fi. You can scan for networks, you can disconnect, which I won't do now because then you just have black screen, or the last screen will remain. You can set up just the network name, usually is given to the scan function. You get the IP address, and there is a password you have to enter. And after you enter the password one time, you can always select the network again. Just click it, press here on the connect. It's not connected, of course. Then you get the IP address back. You see below here. Then you enter the IP address to your browser, which is, here we go, which is above here. So instead of www.google.de, you enter the IP address given from the radio.
Yeah, you can use every.
So moving the screen back to where it belongs.
Yeah. And so you can use every PC or tablet or phone or Mac or whatever you like. You only need a browser and put in the IP address.
Yes,
very easy.
Completely independent from any platform. So, and the last point is the control configuration. Here you have the numpad rotary, which you can select for changing values. So wherever there is our numpad slider, or also on the curve edit window, You can use a specific rotary encoder, or you also can use any rotary encoder for changing the values, just however you like. And also you can have none, but I prefer to have all of them. There's also a telemetry screen switch where you can wipe through the telemetry pages, which is usually done by wiping over the screen, but it also can be done by a switch. And there's a stick control configuration where you see here on the left stick there is no control, and on the right stick there is a switch, and you just have to tell the radio what configuration you have here. Please keep in mind that if you do any changes here, it will only be recognized after restarting the transmitter, which is also shown here by the info window. Yeah, so far for the general settings. There is one more general point, but it's so far general that it got an extra symbol.
Stefan, 1 second. If you have any questions, please use the chat like every time, so we can answer the questions directly.
Questions directly like every time. Yeah, the last one is the output settings, which is mainly the volume. And what you see here is first of all the display brightness. Usually you keep it to 100%, but sometimes on the evening, programming in the living room, this might be too bright, and you also can use a control for reducing it, or when you go for a night flight.
Think of your own. Yeah, with your helicopter.
I know. It's too bright, so you can reduce the display brightness. And the more important point is the volume here. So you have a general volume setting, for example here, the 23%, also linked with the control here. Like every time you have the 3 positions for the control and can set the value, and in between there will be interpolation. So now you can regulate the volume just with a potentiometer. And then you have 2 more lines for the offset. So, for example, when the voice in general is too loud or too calm, you can put an offset here. Like you see now, it's -10%. So the voice will always be a little bit not so loud. What is the correct word?
Is it less?
No. Less loud? I don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
We just change it. We made here plus 16%. So now the voice is always a little bit louder than the general volume. And when you now move the general volume, you see that the voice keeps its offset according to the general volume. You also can have a potentiometer there, like I have here for the value offset. When I now turn the potentiometer, I can change the offset of the value. And when you now turn the general, it also will keep the offset. Yeah, so far for the output settings and the general stuff.
Yep.
The second big topic for today is the teacher-student functionality. And I just realize, yeah, I think we have to fetch for a new battery. Yeah, this is bad preparation, right? But it's not your fault, I just forgot to charge it.
Yes, this is live. Now we have to look for another one and then we can go on. Just give us a second. You hear the noise perhaps? The radio is not so happy. So let's, okay. Now we make it like this. So I think the general setting, yeah, they are well known. Please remember all these things because every time I'm on the fair, I have a lot of talks asking about the Wi-Fi, for example, and the pre-flight tests and so on. And the Wi-Fi is a very, very huge feature. Also because when you fly on the field and you want to use the Wi-Fi to see your telemetry data, you can give, for example, your phone to your friend, switch on the hotspot, connect your transmitter with your phone, and then you can see all the telemetry data live directly on the phone. So it could be a very, very interesting feature also on the field when you see the range, for example. When you have the range in one direction for 500 meters, so you see exactly the distance over ground when your plane has also a GPS, and your friend can tell you exactly all the information.
Yeah, very good. So now we have power again.
There is no difference between iPhone and all the other equipment. You can use Wi-Fi with every mobile or every iPhone, whatever you like. You just need your browser and put in the IP address in the browser.
Yes.
And that's it. So there's no difference if you need an iPhone, if you use an iPhone, or if you use a tablet or an Android handy mobile or whatever you have. So you can use everything. Just put in the IP address in your browser and that's it. Okay, then let's start with the teacher-student mode.
Yes, so the teacher-student mode is located under the model settings, so it's independent for every model. And what you see here on the very first stage is the mode, and usually it's PPM off, and then there's also a mode called PPM on, which will be exactly the same functionality for your plane, but now you have the settings button here and you can choose control that will be output on the PPM signal. So it can be real physics control, or you also can go by and choose a function output for the PPM output, for example, butterfly or even Klappe here, which has no control because it's related to the flight modes, or the aileron. Yeah, Klappe is the German name for flap. Unfortunately, names don't change with the language change. And now you will get the PPM output of what you see here on the PPM socket on the radio. And the next mode we have, according to this, would be the student mode, which is exactly the same like the PPM on mode, but the RF link will be shut down in the student mode. So now there's no more control of the plane. Plane goes to failsafe, if it is connected, and on the settings you see the same table, and it's just output via PPM signal for flight simulator or really teacher-student functionality. The more interesting part is the teacher functionality. Here you also have some more options. So now you see the plane just came back from the failsafe. You see here it's teacher mode. There is no signal detected right now, which we will change. So we're using an old Grobner radio here. And just connect the radio with the PPM, oops, not the audio, the PPM socket of the bed 60 or bed 64, and we will choose a switch. For example, we want to use this one here, and therefore we go to the control selection, and then we tell, okay, here we go. That's my switch. Here you have a tactile switch. So you see, you have to fix it. Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, you use the computer and the fingers and everything.
Yeah, it's just so here we go. Too much.
Okay.
Too much information. So,
and do you remember that I said that we need something for the webcam?
Yes, this was last week.
Yeah.
I thought it was priority number 1.
Yeah, but now I have to hold it. Yeah, it's okay, it's okay.
So now we have the switch here. So you see it goes and open, and we have our radio connected, the old MX MC22, and you have the settings here, and you see here the remote channel. So this is channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, whatever you move, you just see on the bars here. And there also is a calibration. So as the radios like multiplex, Futaba, Graupner, whatever, have some slightly different values for the PPM signal, there is the calibration button, so you can start calibration and move all controls which you want to be calibrated to the limits, and then you just go ahead and move left, right, up, down, left, right. Do we have a slider somewhere? Here we go, there is a switch.
Perhaps we have to go to scroll down a little bit. Yes,
yeah, exactly. Here we go for the slider, the second slider, and no switch, no switch.
No, we have 12 channels, perhaps a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it is connected somewhere.
Okay.
Here, number 11.
Yes.
And after you went to the maximum limits, you confirm this, and then you move all controls in center position, which is again important. Of course, if there is a 2-position switch, you don't have to move it to center position because it's impossible. And then you just go to set center position, and then you finished it. So you see now every value here is in 0 on the center, and you have plus minus 100 for all the switches, and of course also for the sliders here, which makes it very, very flexible for the teacher-student function. And then you just go by and select which control on your radio you want to be replaced by the remote channel. So this is also independent from any mode. If the teacher is mode 2 and the student is mode 4 or 1, it doesn't matter, because you just go ahead and say, okay, this one on the student, I want to be replaced with this one on the teacher. So you go ahead and see, okay, this is number 1 here, and it shall replace the control from the teacher, which is this one. And for the second one, you say, okay, this one here is aileron for the teacher side, but for the student, this one shall be the aileron. So you go here and select the aileron stick, and now the aileron here, this stick, will be replaced by the channel number 4, this one. And also for the elevator, you see here, this is elevator, you choose the correct stick. Here we go. And yeah, now here, number 3, you see moving will be the elevator, and then we have the rudder left. So the rudder here will be replaced by channel number 2, which is this stick. And so far for the configuration. And when you now
some questions also.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And when you now use the tactile switch, you see this one here is aileron, this one is elevator, rudder, butterfly, just working like you selected it. And the teacher is here, somewhere steering, and you release the switch instantly, it comes back to the teacher. Then we have some questions here. Yes. No, you don't need the weatronic Teams module on the radio. This is just, yeah, because it is there, but you don't need it. So the connection, Ralph, camera, please.
Yes, yes.
Camera, please. And action. So here we go. This is just standard PPM socket, 3.5 millimeter, like it is standard on many radios. Those where it is not standard, there is always an adapter available. So you see here, normal headphone jack. And also it's not a glass fiber cable, it's just a €2 article from the electronics market. Stereo cable, mono cable also would be okay. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but in the manual we wrote stereo.
Yeah, because stereo is used on most of the radios.
Yes.
And also mono is hard available. And yeah, on this side it's the same 3.5 millimeter jack. Just connected, and that's it. And the glass fiber cable in former times was used to have no connection on ground between two radios, because this would cause interference with the 35 megahertz transmission technology. The glass fiber cable, I think, will not work at all, because there is no power supply on the BAT64 for the glass fiber stuff. Just please use a very cheap €2 cable.
And it will work.
Yeah, the glass fiber cable was necessary for all old transmission technologies, but Nowadays, it's very simple just with a cable. And it's also very flexible uh, because you don't need to take care about anything. It can be long, it can be short, whatever.
Oh, last time we were asked, how long could it be?
Yes.
And?
Yeah, there is one more question from Stefan Valigova. Yes, you can use 2-bit60 or 64 or also an DV4 module with a tiny receiver. So, Ralph, camera,
Yes.
and action. Yes. So here you have the connector for the PPM signal. It just would be necessary to build a little adapter cable from normal servo plug to a 3.5 millimeter connection and power the tiny, and then you can have here the PPM output from the tiny or also from any other receiver. That doesn't matter too much. There just needs to be an PPM input, and then you can also have cable-less, wireless teacher-student functionality. If we offer such a cable,
not at the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment, but probably we will. Can we? No, there is no binding of other fields because on the teacher-student mode, mostly for safety reasons, we don't touch the RF link. We just changed the input controls from the radio ones to the PPM signal. So yeah,
okay.
So far for the teacher-student, the last tiny little more explanation.
Tiny little more?
Tiny little more explanation, yeah.
You mean the operator?
Yeah, there's.
The operator is not tiny. The operator is also a big feature.
Yeah, the operator is quite cool for additional functionality.
Yes.
And probably you already saw it on the menu. Besides the teacher and student option, there is also a pilot and operator option. So the big difference between teacher, student, and pilot operator is that the pilot operator uses a different protocol, which is only available between two bad radios, bad 60, bad 64, doesn't matter. It's a digital protocol, and it offers the possibility to extend the radio by more controls. So when you go here for the pilot mode, for example, you also have a switch to switch it on and off, and if you want to use it continuously, you also can use a fixed switch and say, okay, this is fixed on, and therefore,
yeah, we have
prepared something. We have prepared something, but there was no camera burst yet.
Too fast, okay.
Yeah, just too fast. But better too fast than too slow. There is again the settings, and you see additional remote channel. There is just no value up to now, and which will be in 2 seconds. So,
action.
Here we go. Action, yes, we prepared something. And here you see again there is a screen on the radio, and you see I have additional features here, which is the remote channel, which is now coming from this radio to the blue one, and this one would be the other, and here the switch, was it? Was it the switch? Just taking a look.
What's it? Okay.
So we're using the center switch right now. So you see here, the third one is the center switch, and the other one's out of camera. That's good, drive and cut. Okay,
Sorry.
so this one is channel 1, and this one is additional channel 2, and the switch here is additional channel 3. And you can use this, for example, when you have a lot of features on your plane, like light, flaps, special effects, whatever, but want to control it with the same RF link and receiver, and you can set additional remote channels up to 12. Here 1, 2, 3, and there is a backup control, and the backup either can be a stick on the main radio, or it also can be a slider, for example, or it can be a fixed value. So you just go to fixed value and say, for example, fix minus 100% will be the backup for 2. The backup for 3 is the stick. And when you now watch the function setup, you can create a new function like we have here, function 7, and you also can choose remote input up to 12. So now we will choose remote input number 1. You remember this was the stick here. When you now watch the function values, you see that the function value is controlled by the stick. If I remove the connection, it will fall to the backup control, which was the slider.
Minus 100.
Yeah, this is now the slider. Or you also can change to another control. For example, you use the remote input number 2, and you see here, this was backup minus 100, so no connection, and it's just to minus 100. If I link it again, we are here, no, what's left, right, and you see there is working again. So this is a lot of additional controls, mainly used for multicopters, for example. One is really flying the copter, the other one is controlling the camera gimbal. Therefore, you also have additional controls, and there is also a backup, so when anything happens to the cable or it is disconnected, it falls to the backup you saw, like here. Yeah, so far for the teacher, student, and the special pilot operator mode.
And the operator, we are now in the pilot settings.
Yeah, I didn't show the operator yet. The operator works similar to the student. So on the operator, also it will shut down the RF link, and the settings work the same like before on the teacher student. So for the operator, you just choose the control you want to have output on the remote channel. Yeah, so far for teacher, student, pilot, operator,
and the general settings.
and the general settings. Yes.
Okay, then it's very close to 8 o'clock. Then let's end the workshop with our last page. As every time we would say, thank you very much, and we will go on answering your questions for sure. But you know that we will
Publish the workshop.
yeah, publish the workshop, and we have to stop here so I can publish the good workshop. Okay, then we say thank you very much for your attention, and see you the next time.
Yes, see you next time. Have a nice evening. Further questions will be answered right now.
Yeah, exactly. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Weatronic.